Hey everyone, welcome to the latest El Nino update. We're going to see what's happening in the Pacific Ocean in terms of the El Nino event. Of course, we've got the event designated. It's on, it's here, it's with us, and it is impacting the weather. We've got this big hurricane at the time when I'm doing the video on the, what date are we with? 23rd of October. So I've got this big hurricane, Patricia, bearing down on Mexico as I'm doing this update, and I think this is probably at least partly, you can't say it's totally down to El Nino, but I think the severity of this hurricane is probably at least partly down to the energy that's been provided by El Nino in the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean. So I'll have a look and see what's happening in a moment, and then I'll have a look at some projections to see what may be going on as we move through to the end of the year and into 2016. But before I get on with all of that, just to quickly say about the ads, there's links to articles on all the pages at Gazovitz, so have a browse of widgets and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in, and thanks very much for doing that. There's also video ads on most pages which open out within the content, and when you watch them they'll close back up again. Thanks so much for getting involved. In fact, my eye is rather sore this evening, playing up unfortunately, so I'll just quickly get on with things. And we're going to start off with this chart I've showed you before, of course, the cold and warm episodes by season from NOAA, NOAA, the United States. The blue colours in the boxes are telling us where we've got cold events, La Niñas, and the red colours in the boxes are showing us where we've got warm events, which are El Niños. Of course, it's El Niño that we're interested in for this particular period. So here we are then with 2015 just here, and of course we got the El Nino designated last month. We got the 5 red numbers in the boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just there. So the tri-monthly period of June, July, August was the tri-month period that got the El Nino designated, this box just here. We've got another red box appeared, a sixth one for the tri-monthly period of July, August, September, and that came out at 1.5. And obviously with these boxes just here will be filled up by more red numbers as well. Now what's quite interesting about that number, 1.5, is that it's the strongest El Nino for that tri-monthly period, or strongest anomaly I should say, which is 10 is the strongest El Nino essentially, for that tri-monthly period, July, August, September, since 1997. And the same tri-monthly period in 1997 came out at plus 1.7, so a little bit higher than this tri-monthly period just gone. The same thing happened for the June, July, August tri-monthly period. That came out at 1.2, and for the same tri-monthly period in 1997, again, just a little bit more at 1.4. So this is a monster El Nino event. It may not quite be the strongest on record. At the moment, we're just running ever so slightly under 1997 with these tri-monthly boxes. But of course, it's possible that we could accelerate and go past what happened in 1997, and the numbers there peaked at around 2.3 for the tri-monthly periods at the end of the year in 1997. So that's what we would have to beat, essentially, if we was to get the strongest El Nino on record. We'll probably fall just a little bit under that, but it's going to be a big event. It is a big event. It's a monster El Nino, and of course we will continue to see how this goes. So we're going to have a look at the sea surface temperature anomalies from the Pacific Ocean next, and this was a situation across the oceans, again from NOAA, when I did the update for El Nino last month. So this is taken from the 21st of September. It's the chart that we used for last month's update. Of course, what we're interested in is this vast red area in the equatorial Pacific. That is the signature of El Nino. All of this is warm surface, sea surface temperatures through the equator of the Pacific Ocean, from Peru, which is over here, to Indonesia, which is over here. Actually, when you get to the Indonesian islands themselves, you tend to get quite cold waters appearing. And again, that is something that goes along with El Nino when you get it cold around Indonesia and down to Australia, which is just here, of course. Then further eastwards in Pacific Ocean, out to the Pacific Ocean, you'll get it warmer. So that's the signature of El Nino. That's what I'm looking at around this time last month when we did the last update. This is the situation now, and a further strengthening has taken place over the past month. So once again, going back to September, there we go. In September for October, we can see that quite clearly. We have continued to warm. This is a very, very big El Nino event. By the way, notice how cold it has now gone across Indonesia and down into northern parts of Australia. I'm not sure if there's a connection between getting very cold temperatures just here and the possibility of La Nina after the El Nino. It's something I'm going to investigate to see whether there is any connection there. But certainly loads of cold sea surface temperature anomalies around the Indonesian islands and going through in towards Australia. Anyway, back to El Nino, and we quite clearly have a very strong El Nino going on right now. There's been further strengthening of El Nino through the past month. This is a big event. This is, if it's not the record, it's certainly going to be up there with the strongest recorded El Nino events. This is Mexico, by the way, just here. So you see it's very, very close to where we've got all of this warmth. And I do think that the warm temperatures that have been signalled here through the Equatorial Pacific, I think that is connecting back to the strength and intensity of Hurricane Patricia. So this is Hurricane Patricia. It's bearing down from the Pacific side. Importantly, it's bearing down on Mexico. Going to be a very severe day on Saturday for many parts of Mexico, and then going on into the weekend. As you see where that hurricane is, it is tying in with these very warm sea surface temperature anomalies. So this is sort of perhaps the first really severe impact of this El Nino event. There will be more impacts, of course, as we go through the next few months, but this one is possibly the first sort of really severe, devastating impact, catastrophic impact from this very strong El Nino event, which you can't necessarily pin the whole of that, the whole thing down to the El Nino event. It's possible they would have been a hurricane hitting Mexico anyway, but whether it will quite have got to this level of intensity without these warm sea surface temperature anomalies that are associated with El Nino, I think it's a little bit doubtful. I do think this could be El Nino playing its hand. So let's have a look and see how things are forecast to go through the ENSO region in the Pacific Ocean for the rest of this year and into 2016. This is from a CFS V2, and it's for region 3.4. Should just say that region 3.4 is this central part of the Equatorial Pacific just here. And then we've got 1.2, which is over here towards the Peruvian side. So, as I've explained, we're looking for Modoki El Nino conditions, really, to get a cold winter for America, and perhaps increased chance of cold winter here, which is to get it warmer just here, and then cooler just here. We'll have a look to see if there's any sign of that in the model. So, this is for region 3.4. It's the forecast from the CFS V2. We've got the temperature anomalies on the side, of course, and the dates are along the bottom. So this is where we are just here in October 2015. So you can see that it has toned down the forecast for the strength of this El Nino. At one point it was forecasting it to be up here somewhere. Now it's forecasting it to peak around here, which is very close to the all-time record. Maybe a little bit under the all-time record, but certainly very close to that 97-98 event. A big El Nino event, as we've already seen. Now, from that peak, the general idea is through to the end of the year is to cool things down a little bit. So by the time we get through to January, it's indicated that the central part of the Pacific will be around there. Still very warm, still a big El Nino at 2 degrees. Going through into the start of 2016, it is cooling things down. And certainly some of these members of this ensemble plume do go into La Nina territory right at the very end there. That's July 2016. We do see some members of the ensemble plume going into a car event. I do suspect we probably will have a car event, but I think this will probably finish up looking a bit more like that, doing something like that, as opposed to this very gradual drop that CFS V2 is. I think it'll probably be a bit more dramatic than that as we get through into the start of next year. But certainly some members of the Ensemble Plume are indicating, at least hinting, that there could be an El Nino, could be a La Nina cold event next year. What about Modoki El Nino? Well, this is the forecast for region 1.2, so this is close to the Peruvian coast. Essentially what you want for Modoki, central-based El Nino, is for this to be cooler than this. It's a little bit hard to work it out, actually, because this is cooling steadily, really, from around November or December. It's just a gradual cooling trend, whereas this looks fairly flat and static, really, as we're going forward. But I don't think there's a great deal in it now, actually. At one point, this was looking more like that, whereas 3.4, which is central part of the Pacific, was looking a bit more like that. So we did definitely have a signature for a Modoki. I'm not so sure about that. It's very close in both of the regions, albeit they're doing a little bit, they're a little bit different, because this is fairly flat and static, with the temperatures not really doing a great deal, whereas this is going on a cooling trend. But nevertheless, I think for the winter months, they're generally very close. So I am getting quite doubtful now about whether we'll get this Modoki or Modaiki central-based El Nino in place. This is from the Jamstech model. This is actually a forecast for El Nino Modoki. This is a new product, I think, from Jamstech. But to get a Modoki El Nino, what we want to be seeing is the red line and the blue line here, which is the observed part, and the red line is the forecast chart, forecast part of the chart. We want to be seeing that going negative for a Modoki El Nino to be taking place. There's no sign of that, really. It's just generally close to neutral there, and then actually a little bit above neutral through this part going into the start of next year. So no real sign of a Modoki or a Modaiki El Nino. These stragglers just here do go a little bit towards Modoki later next year, but for our winter and America's winter, not a huge amount of sign there of a Modoki El Nino. So maybe this is going to be a general El Nino, very similar, in fact, to the 97-98 event, as opposed to the Modoki or Modaiki El Nino that I was thinking was possibly like it. This will, if it doesn't develop into Modoki El Nino, this will probably have an impact on the winter forecast. This is the ECMWF region 3.4 El Nino forecast for the rest of this year going into next year. Of course, we know we've got the temperature anomalies on the side, the dates are along the bottom. So this is where we're predicted to be towards the end of the year in this sort of zone just here, which is taking us, as you can quite clearly see, somewhere between around 2 and 3 Celsius above average. So again, a very strong event, a monster El Nino event, a super Nino really, and could be the strongest on record. If not, it won't be all that far away from 97, 98. So a big El Nino event again from the ECMWF. As we go into next year, there is a cooling signal, 1 or 2 members going in towards La Nina territory, but generally the ECMWF just wants to cool things down towards neutral really as we go through into the spring of 2016. Of course, we will continue to monitor that. And Jamstech IOD, again, all very similar. This is very close to a record El Nino event, though, that the Jamstech is going for. It's close to 3 Celsius through the end of the year. After that, just a very gradual drop down with this red line. So by the time we get through to the summer, it's seeing that we're sort of into neutral territory. Again, there are 1 or 2 outlier members that are going into La Nina type condition next year, but by no means is that the forecast from model at this stage. But I've got a feeling we're going to get La Nina next year. We did after 97, 98. I've got a feeling that's where we'll go with this, and overall we'll finish up doing something like that, maybe a little bit more dramatic than that, so doing something a bit like that next year. We will wait and see how that plays out, of course, and whether we do indeed have a La Nina for 2016. We'll do a very different pattern next year compared to what we've had this year. But anyway, back to El Nino, and well, it is with us and it is impacting the weather now. I think Mexico is going to bear the brunt of it in the short term with Hurricane Patricia. Certainly the El Nino adding some fuel to the fire on that hurricane. You can't blame the entire hurricane down to El Nino, but I think it's probably adding fuel to the fire with Hurricane Patricia. And as we go beyond that, well, really, I think the impacts will just get greater, particularly across the Pacific and across America. There will be big impacts from this mega El Nino event. And in terms of our weather, of course, we've been looking at that Modoki El Nino to see whether we can increase the chance of a cold winter. We may be backing away from a Modoki signal that could have an impact when I come to do winter forecasts on the 1st of December. There'll be another El Nino update next month, so we can see how things are progressing. Of course, as we're going along and getting to the end of the year and inside next year, we will be increasingly thinking about what comes after this El Nino event. Okay, that's all for now. We're doing the second seasonal model roundup for winter of 2015-2016 tomorrow at Gabsworthy, so do come back for that. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.